Well, hello, Brian and Trevor. So, what an honor to have you guys join the Stramaglio Show. We're really thrilled to have you. We got some great and fun things that we want to talk with you about. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourself to the audience, and then I'll pick it up from there. So, Brian, I'll start with you.
Perfect. Yeah, my name is Brian Wyatt. I'm the relatively new CEO of Marco. I've been with the company now 7 months, but I obviously we'll get into it a little bit more. But I just wanted to start. I saw on LinkedIn a couple days ago that you've been in the industry for 50 years. So I just want to first of all congratulate you on an amazing run, and it's clear you've done it the right way with a lot of respect. You've built a lot of really great relationships, and I just want to first of all just commend you on that because your reputation absolutely precedes you. So
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. So, thank you. I really appreciate it. 50 years is a long run, and I'm very grateful you made those comments. So, thanks, Brian.
yeah, of course.
We'll come back to lengthy career paths like Mr. Akervik. So, Trevor, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit for someone who can't possibly know you, who I can't imagine, but say hello to everybody.
Thanks, Mike. Trevor Akervik, I'm the president of the print company here at Marco. I've been a proud member of the Marco team for 26 years now and navigated 12 years of that 26 in the IT world, building our MSP practice, and then a copier sales rep at the start, and here leading a new strategy for Marco in the print division. And Mike, too, I'd say that you're one of the people that I've admired in my 26 years. You're also, we both share in common that we both have daughters, and both of them went to ASU, and they're great human beings as well. And so it's a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Well, it's great to have both of you. I love your daughter. You know that. So I'm unapologetic about how I feel about good family. So, anyway, great to have you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start with some simple questions. And I think this is kind of important. Everyone would like to know. So, Brian, where did you come from? How did you get to Marco?
It's a good question. Well, I have 25 years of experience in technology services, a pretty varied experience there. I guess my story probably starts before that. I've always been super interested in technology from when I was a kid. Pretty interesting story, actually. My grandfather, during World War II, was stationed at a place called Bletchley Park, where they developed, I think, the first programmable computer to beat the Enigma code, the German Enigma code. And he sort of ended up there somewhat by chance, but was, pretty formidable there. But interestingly, he didn't talk about it. It was confidential until probably the late 70s, and he didn't really talk about it until the 80s, which I always found, super. Well, one, the technology was super interesting. The impact that it had on the world, then I think equally important is that you can participate in something like that with such a humble, quiet way about it. So sort of from the beginning, I've been super interested and fascinated with technology. And during that time, at least my career, I've been part of a number of technology companies, not so much on the copy or printer space, but more on the IT product development space. And I think over time, my interest and really what I get energy around is growing companies and importantly, growing people at those companies. So I've been part of companies that have doubled in size multiple times. It's really been gratifying to be part of that and to eventually lead those organizations. And so recently or last summer, I was someone reached out said that there was, a pretty sizable technology services company based here in Minnesota, where I live and where I've spent most of my time. And then the more I got to know the business and got to know the people, the more interested I got. And candidly, before I was traveling a lot all over the world, and I have three boys. I don't have girls like you guys, but I have three boys who are still at home, and so the opportunity to lead a technology company, but also spend quality time with my kids while they're still home was something that I couldn't pass up, and it's been an amazing 7 months so far.
Well, that's an interesting story, and I'd like to come back and ask you a few questions about that. But it seems like it's somebody actually had a strategic plan. So you've got Trevor, who's grown up in the core business, and Marco branched off into the new business, and you come in very complimentary.
Yeah, we're having fun.
So, Trevor, tell me a little bit. Tell everyone in the audience who may not know your background. I've been very honored to know you for some years. You've always been a gentleman and very courteous to me and the companies I've worked for, and I've always loved my interaction with Marco. So, you've been there a long time. A, how'd you get there? And B, how do you feel about Marco today?
Well, I got here through good fortune, but also through, my community giving at an early age. And so I met Jeff Gow, who was not the CEO of Marco when I met him, in a parking lot after school at college, where I was negotiating as a student liaison the contract with the YMCA, which Jeff Gow had been the volunteer president of. And we did the negotiation that afternoon, and in the parking lot, he said, "Hey, you should really come over to Marco and sell furniture." That was an economic engine for Marco at that time. And I'm like, "Well, that's awesome. I don't want to sell furniture though." And the story is funny because 4 years later, after I tried to do other things, I came back to that relationship that was established in the parking lot that afternoon and asked Jeff if Marco had any opportunities. And he didn't give me an opportunity, he gave me an opportunity to talk about what I might be able to provide and give to Marco, and what I might benefit by learning from being a part of Marco. And I was selected to be a copier sales rep, 26 years ago. No previous knowledge of the industry, and I just had my oldest daughter, who is at that time was 9 months old. We just bought a new house, and so I had a lot of financial obligations, and so I put the chin strap on and worked really, really hard, listened to everything everyone had to say, and then applied it to my customer situations. And so moved up through sales leadership, and then my first big opportunity at Marco came in 2009 when I was tapped to lead the IT MSP expansion. We're taking some things that were really, really small and try to make them much, much larger. And so from 2009 through 2021, I led that endeavor before I moved into the executive team. So it's been a wonderful set of experiences. I've peer grouped with people in the IT world and the copier world. And so there are a lot of people that I have met that know me. I'm a representation of Marco, who's been in this industry for 53 years. So I think we've worked really hard to establish a good reputation as a company, but then an even stronger reputation as human beings that represent the company.
Well, did I hear you right? So you negotiated your first contract with Marco with Jeff Gow in a parking lot, which
Well, the
is
parking lot
that
was
is
actually a
that's
competition, but
but that is classic Jeff Gow, if I remember correctly. So that's a great story. And Marco, I watched Marco, like everyone in the industry, grow through many iterations and acquisitions. How many acquisitions has Marco made through the career?
57 since 2005.
Incredible. Are any of those acquisitions IT companies primarily?
Yeah, there were four of those back in the mid 2000s that were small IT firms, but predominantly they've been print acquisitions.
So through the journey, and I'll come back to Brian now. You come into the business. And I would imagine the only experience you've had with a copier was when one broke down in your previous life.
Pretty much. Yep.
So, what shocked you, or in a good way? What made you go, "Wow, I never imagined this business to be like this"? Was there a moment like that?
No, I mean, I think it's extremely dynamic. I think the thing that probably, I don't know if it surprised me or not. I don't think that's, maybe surprised is the right word, but the people have been, extraordinarily welcoming and, hardworking, and I think super passionate about this industry, for sure. There's definitely some interesting characters here as well, but it's been great. I think that's probably been. I've just really enjoyed it. Like I mentioned, I get a lot of my energy around the relationships that I built, and the people have been great. And so I think that's one area where I've been pleasantly. I don't know. Again, I don't know if surprise is the right word there, but I've enjoyed it.
Well, Marco has a reputation for having a great culture and great people. And I think the two of you are just moving that needle even further the right way. So, and by the way, I can say that with some confidence for the audience. So recently, I was invited by Trevor and Brian to their new national distribution center, if I could call it that. You're going to tell us the right name. But we had an opportunity to go and visit with this incredible distribution center and service center. And for the audience, I have to admit, surprised was a pretty good word for me in this one. I had heard about it. I had been given a little bit advance warning, but wow, I was surprised, including the the little tour through the lift. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. But I was absolutely, and I remain astounded by what you've been able to do in a very short period of time. So, Brian, I'm going to come back to you. What drove Marco to doing this, and where are you? Where do you feel you are in the journey so far?
Well, like you said, you've seen Marco grow over the years, and we've expanded, and as we have grown, we've been able to compete at a different level, and one of which, I mean, we're winning very large national accounts that require us to have some proximity to the entire the U.S. So that made us think about. We've acquired a lot of companies. We've had a lot of small warehouses throughout the country, but being able to centralize that to a place where we can get to anywhere in the country in 2 days was definitely strategic, and for sure, some of that was the opportunities that we have won, that we are winning. But I'd say the logistics center, we call it the logistics center, is one pillar of that strategy. Obviously, we're hiring techs throughout the country. And then we have technology backbone, the Marco Insights Cloud, which we've actually been investing in for 10 years, which gives us visibility into our customers' environment. So all of those things sort of enabled us to look at the market a bit differently. Again, winning Fortune 5 company client relationship probably accelerated things a little bit for us, where we really had to push ourselves nationally. But yeah, so I think those are the primary reasons behind it. But I agree, the logistics center is a really impressive physical representation of what we are doing, and it's not going to be the last. We're looking at expanding within the year to doing one or two more of those. So, Trevor, I don't know if you want to add to that, because some of that was definitely in motion before I got there, but they pulled it together relatively quickly, and it's fun. It's fun to be part of.
So, Trevor, I'd like to ask you to expand on that, but if you could answer one additional question. So you have service people all over the country now, or about to. These are Marco employees.
They are 100% Marco W2 service employees. Brian's right on the logistics center. It was a product of winning large national customers with many, many locations. And we needed to deliver equipment as we're replacing 35,000 of their devices with new devices as part of their refresh program. But as we started getting into that, beyond the logistics capabilities becomes, what is the service network that's required to properly serve a Fortune 5 customer? And so we very quickly started unwinding the interterritorial network that's been built in our industry over, 3 or so decades. And we were being held, and we agreed to very strong SLA requirements by this customer. And so that customer is and also another pillar in this national expansion. And our SLAs that we are obligating ourselves to for that customer, are pushing the need for us to have technicians nationwide. And so, Mike, you've been in this industry a really long time as well. And, like if you go back to the Danka days, in some transition there, someone challenged the status quo of the industry before, and a lot of customers, large, started moving to OEMs because OEMs were the only ones that had capabilities greater than the dealer network had them. And so part of what we're doing in this offering to other dealers in our industry is having more customers stay in the channel. Because as we've moved up market, we're more competing with the OEMs. And we're finding ourselves at Marco with greater capabilities in both logistics, service, and visibility into what we're doing. And so that is largely what has led to us to win over $10 million of new business through April. And part of this is that we want to bring that opportunity for the channel to win with us, and is why we're extending our service and logistics platform offering to other dealers.
Well, that's a great summary, and a couple of thoughts. So you basically are subscribing to our mission, which is, the Executive Connection Summit. We talk about floating all boats. How do you float all boats that lifts the industry up? And Marco has a reputation for being rock solid, but also an interesting disruptor, which this is, right? So you're basically taking fragments of what had been done for years past, and you built a program around it, which is desperately needed when you look at print declining and all the things that we know so well. So you have all these people going around, and in large part, are they acting as Marco employees and maybe carry a badge for the local dealer if necessary?
They are all Marco badged employees in Marco vans with $14,000 of van stock in the communities in which they're serving. So they operate very similarly to any copier technician anywhere. They have a territory with boundaries, and we're managing the devices and the pages within their geography. And so we're very much open about the fact that we are there to deliver a high quality service experience to extend the life for the dealer that hired us to do the service. So we indeed only want to continue to be able to deliver service to those dealers' customers by doing great work with high standard SLAs to give them more lease cycles. And so that's if there's any negative air blowing through the industry right now, when you challenge status quo, you sometimes upset people that don't want things to change. And yet our industry has said for a number of years post-COVID that indeed things need to change. And so we knew going into this that, this public strategy would be met with skepticism. But I'll finish with this, Mike, is that It's why I said that Marco's been in this industry for 53 years, and I've been in this industry peer grouping for 26 years. So, for those that have any sense that we're going to steal your customers or disrupt your relationships, think about it. We've been serving over 200 dealers in ITT capacity for 30 years. So why is this now a concern because we're public with a strategy when we have been serving all of these dealers in an ITT capacity for 3 decades? So I would ask people to rely on our reputation.
So you mean you didn't hire these people to go out and steal all the dealers' customers?
It'd be a pretty short-lived strategy, Mike.
Well, anybody that knows Marco, anybody that really understands the business, and anybody that understands the importance of culture, reputation, integrity, anybody that thinks the mission is to steal customers, they probably want to have a bourbon and a cigar, talk to themselves. So for anybody who thinks that, I stake my reputation on Marco, ain't going to happen, never happen. It's a foolish thought. So let's take it a little bit further now. So, because I think the industry, I think you would agree, Brian and Trevor, we have an industry kind of conflict. We have generational people aging out, copier technicians, whoever it is. The technology is aging out and the people skills are aging out. So I would think one of the major benefits for the industry is that you're providing a resource for dealers that frankly would very much have a hard time dealing with technology change out and or generational change. And you're training these people. Am I correct in saying that, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. We a lot of our industry, the other dealers. This gives them a national platform, kind of out of the gate as well, and we take away a lot of these headaches. So the discussions we're having are extremely productive and welcomed. Obviously, we stand on our reputation, as we talked about. We also put rules of engagement and a contract in place that backstops that. But yeah, to your point, the technology is changing. We are, being very focused on how we recruit mechanically inclined people and train them in this business. And we're being, very successful in doing that. So, despite some of the pushback or the questions, we think we have product market fit. Like, we have something, we're solving a big problem, and we're doing it in a construct, like Trevor said, that's been going on for 30 years. We just want to do a really good job for it.
So let's take the conversation a little bit different direction. So I understand both of you actually visited Japan recently, and I would assume along the way you visited with some OEMs that are important to you. Number one, was it your first time to Japan? And number two, what could you share with us? Who went with you, and what do you feel the outcome was for that great meeting? So
Yeah, it
Brian,
was great. Yeah, I can start, I guess, and then Trevor can fit. It was my 4th time to Japan. So I actually went there originally 20 years ago on my honeymoon. So that was a personal trip, but I've loved Japan. I've been there a couple times before this for work as well. And as you can imagine, with the size and the history of Marco, we buy a lot of product from our partners there. So really, it was an opportunity for us to meet with our partners there, and to represent also our ownership group, which is Norwest Equity Partners, who owns Marco, but also Clover, and so. For us to present our joint capabilities there. And, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of sort of imagination and creativity as to what we were doing in Japan. But the reality is that we were just meeting our partners. And in a lot of instances, we're among their largest customers. And so, like you would do with any partner, with any vendor, it's important for us to establish those relationships. So, hate to dismay any sort of conspiracies or whatever. We were just meeting with the industry.
Perfect. And Trevor, what was your take on it?
First time in the country. I loved how clean it was and how gracious the people were. We got to travel to a fair number of different parts of Japan. And so loading a 400 passenger plane to go like Minneapolis to Chicago with that many people, we loaded the plane in under 15 minutes. And so it was a firsthand experience of how impeccable they are at the manufacturing process. And but like Brian said, it was enjoyable to share what Marco and Clover do for the industry with the people at the pointy end of the industry, and to further solidify, many decades of relationship in some of these cases that we have with them.
And we went with, just to jump into, we went with Doug Albrechts as well, who's my predecessor here at Marco and an advisor to NEP. So it's always great. We have a really great relationship, and he's extremely helpful. And his connections and relationships and history and legacy go very deep there. So it was great to spend some time there with him.
Well, you know what? That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm sure people would like to know Doug's still got his fingers in the bowl a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He's our chairman. He's still very involved. So
we're coming down to the turn here, and I have a couple of, I think, relatively interesting questions, or important questions, I should say. So there's a lot of talk in the marketplace about, private equity money or venture capital money. And, oh, hey, everybody's a real genius. The private equity people only hold companies 5 to 7 years and then they flip them. And that doesn't seem to be the case anymore with many companies, including Marco. So has the model changed, and people should just adjust their thinking about this? So what do you think, Brian? NEP's happy?
Yeah, NEP's extraordinarily happy. I mean, the company has absolutely performed during their hold. Has been, you mentioned, 5 to 7. In some instances, it's 3 to 5. But I'd say there's exceptions. There's always exceptions to that. And so they really like the economics of this business. They really like the stability, the recurring nature of the services. And so, I think it's, they seem to be very happy with what we're doing. And I think importantly are giving us the resources that we need to really fuel our strategy and our growth. And so, I look at them as partners in the business. And all indications are that, they are treating this as a long-term investment. And again, it's been over 10 years. They've already been in it. So it's been great to work with them.
Well, a lot of people become brilliant when they start talking about investment companies when they've never been in an investment company or used a private equity company. So I appreciate their input, but I think yours is better. So Trevor, you've been there a long time, and you're happy with NAP and the investment. And by the way, I would guess, Brian, it's safe to say that your NEP would not be investing at the level that they are, as evidenced by your national distribution center. They're putting more money into it.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Trevor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. My personality is such that I like to take complex things, break them down to the foundation, and build them up in a different way and see if we can get a different outcome. And so that's sort of where some of these strategies have been born from. And to then back up strategies with real investment has been a dream for me. And my roles at Marco over my 26 years have all been taking something that has been a little bit sluggish and reinventing it. And that's kind of what I'm doing in the print organization post-COVID. We lost 2.5 billion pages under contract during COVID at Marco. And so, NEP asked us to reimagine the print industry and where are areas where it's being underserved, and let's lean into that. And that's what's fun this strategy against winning, Fortune 5 customers. So, they're very contiguous. They're great partners, and they're very supportive.
So one final work question, and then a couple, maybe at least one funny question. But from a work perspective, obviously the dealer community is smaller. We've gone from 10,000 independent dealers to 1,800, with probably 200 of them driving 80% of the business. And we need to grow more young people, young dealers, etc. So I'll start with you, Brian. What you're excited about the business, and what is the message you want to send to the dealer distribution and young people coming into the market? Is there a message you want to deliver? Hey, do this or don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's huge opportunity here, and I think that we're seeing our business continue to grow, and with that growth come investment. We also have the IT side of our business, and so in the world of AI, we are implementing that aggressively within our IT business, but also in our print business and in our Insights Cloud. And so we're seeing growth. We're selling a lot of product. We're growing our services business, and we're investing there. And this is important. I mean, this is keeping our customers running, and I think with the newer generation, it's increasingly important that they have purpose in what they do, and I found a lot of purpose in my career, and it's no different here at Marco. So I would just say be part of a growing organization that invests in its people and treats others right is kind of all I want at this point in my career, and I think other people can find that here as well.
Awesome. And from you, Trevor, what's that one message you want to push into the marketplace?
Well, I don't want to see 1,800 dealers go to 600 dealers, and the reason I don't want that is there are second, third, or fourth generation people working in these dealerships that want to know that there's road ahead of them in this industry. My daughter works as a sales rep at Marco. Your daughter Jenna hosted a panel at the year before's ECS with young people, and so the industry and the dealers in the industry deserve a great career like I've had in this industry, and we can do that if we think bold enough about what is possible. I would encourage dealers to think beyond what maybe they're hearing in the noise of the day, and come talk to us. We've had great engagements with dozens and dozens of dealers, and in fact, some of the things going on in the air in our industry are driving people to have a conversation with us because they know our reputation precedes ourselves. And so we do have the best interests of the industry in mind. And yes, we want to grow our company, but not at the demise of others. And so we have a platform that is winning us business nationally. And as Brian said, other dealers can tap into our platform to also win nationally because of our platform. And we've been doing interterritorials for hundreds of dealers for 30 years. Adding more of your fleet in an interterritorial capacity is no different than the original fleet you gave me anyway. So other than I have a contract that has teeth in it these days, I have SLAs that are backed up, and I have a always on portal to the information of what we're doing on your behalf. So I'm taking all of the mystery out of something that's been done for decades, on top of a platform that should excite the industry and some of the young people in the industry. And Mike, we have heard from dealers that were considering selling to someone else and then have engaged in conversations with us because they like the strategy. They want to leave their employees with an organization that has a purpose. The same thing applies to technicians that are applying. In many cases, we're not seeking technicians any longer. They're coming to us because they've heard about what we're doing and the mobility that we give them. Some techs want to finish their career near their families as they enter into retirement. We create an opportunity for them to relocate really to anywhere in the country that may benefit them in a personal setting. And finish out their career doing something that they're really, really darn good at doing and against a mission that's worth doing it for.
Great way to finish, gentlemen. So I do have one, like I said, silly question. I ask everyone, better be prepared. What's your favorite Frank Sinatra song? So Trevor, how about you first?
Well, I knew this was coming, and so there's two of them for me, and it's sort of in the winds of what's going on. But it's hard for me to choose from a Frank Sinatra song between "I Get a Kick Out of You" or "Something Stupid." So those are the two that sort of came to mind in the era of our conversation.
Well, something stupid seems to be appropriate sometimes, right? So great choices. And how about you, Brian? I know I'm challenging your youth.
Yeah, well, I checked to see if Sinatra ever covered Pearl Jam, but that didn't happen. So I will say, "Come Fly with Me." I actually do actually really love that, and I think as somebody who's traveled extensively around the world and worked in 40 countries, there's just something kind of magical about doing that, and I think it's also maybe symbolic as to what we're doing. So, yeah, it's I'll take "Come Fly with Me."
Well, that's a great choice. That indicates a great future for Marco. And if I can add for the audience, I admit I'm a little biased, so don't go crazy out there. But Marco has a phenomenal reputation. Has always been great and gracious with me. Every employee I've ever encountered has always been professional and top shelf, just top shelf. What you're doing right now, the industry needs positive disruption and the ability to integrate new things, whether it's new programs, new processes, new products, and certainly new technologies to effectively run the company and the country better. All the dealers in the country. AI is with us forever, so we're going to figure out how all that works. But the closing comment is, I wish you really great success. I think the opportunity to talk with you gentlemen today should clear up a lot of confusion and or questions that people may have. And my message to everyone out there, if you have more questions, reach out to Trevor, reach out to Brian, and find out more about this program and frankly, the benefits of it. So gentlemen, I say thank you very, very much. And we'll look forward to visiting with you sometime in the future.